So my name is Sonam Rajani Gale, and I was diagnosed in 2017. Basically, what had happened is I had found a lump while showering, so I used to self-check. And I went to my GP twice. Every time we went, he kept saying it's a blocked milk duct. He gave me antibiotics. The swelling would reduce, not go away, but it would reduce, and I would be okay. The second time, the same thing happened, but this time the swelling was much more and the lump was a bit bigger. At this point, I still hadn't told my family about it. So my husband didn't know, my mom didn't know. And on the third time now, when the swelling was unbearable, is when I told my mom about it. We did go for, we were given two options. It's either we do a lumpectomy or a biopsy. And at that point, I had insurance and they were covering. So I think we just felt the smarter move was to go for a lumpectomy. A lumpectomy is when they go in and they remove the entire, like whatever they found there, the knot, the lump, everything. After which it was sent to for a biopsy. So after that biopsy, in between I kept going, to get the stitches checked to the doctor. And I think the doctor kind of gave it away at that point. He's like, oh, your reports will be out on so-and-so day, so please do come with someone or family. Make sure you come with some support system. Let me tell you something, joke on that doctor. I went with 4 people. So when we were told that, look, it is cancer, unfortunately, it was a very aggressive type. It's a triple negative breast cancer.
The doctor talking about doctors they were speaking to you inside your eyes. What was it?
I feel like, okay, honestly, when I was told, I felt like the ground had opened below me, because I told you I was one of those people who believed this can never happen to me. And when I was told, I broke down. I think I left the doctor's office and I left the people who, so I went with my mom, my cousin and my best friend. And they stayed and I think I walked out because I think I'd broken down at that point. I'll be honest, it was a bit of a blur at that point. But I remember crying and apologizing to my mom and my husband. And they were like, you know what, this is not your fault. Why are you apologizing for something that you have not done? And that at that point there was a lot of debate on whether what the line of treatment was. Were we going to do a single mastectomy? So initially we had booked for the single total radical mastectomy, after which we were told it needs to be changed to a double. The double would have been a preference for me. But what happened after that is I think I wasn't okay. When that news, when it was broken to me, I think the only thing I could hear were my daughter's voices. And they were only two and a half at that point. And that's the only thing I could think about and hear. And I just wanted to be with them. So I did cry, but I went home to them. So once we decided what we were going to do is, again, the doctors, there was this, I think people didn't know at that point that we had the facilities here. And we were told, go to India, don't do it here. We don't have the facilities here. The doctors here are not okay. And okay, I did go to India. I'm glad I did do the surgery there, but I lost out a month of my daughter's life in that 1 month. And my little one, I have twin daughters, and one of my daughters would speak to me on the phone, and the other one would not even look at me. So I think that part, it broke my heart. That I was like, okay, I've come away from my daughters, and we were encouraged to go ahead with the chemotherapy in India. And I kept looking at my husband and speaking to my mom, and I was like, I can't do this away from my children. That's when I was introduced to MP Shah, Faraja, Dr. Vijay, and my 3 favorite nurses. I had 16 chemotherapies. I had 15 radios, and then I had oral chemotherapy for about 8 to 9 months, yeah. So what I did is, prior to my first chemo, I chose to shave my hair off to save my body and my mind from that initial shock. So we lost that. I removed my hair way before that. So chemo for me was not very easy. I really struggled with the side effects and the pain, the body aches. I lost my nails as well in the process. They had turned blue. My skin was extremely dry, cracked and bleeding. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Then I developed neuropathy, which is like a tingling sensation in the feet and the hands. I had severe nausea through. I wasn't able to. So the day of the chemo, we used to call it day zero. That day you're okay, you're happy, you're healthy, your nurses have pumped you with good medication. Then day one is the day after the chemo. And for that 2 to 3 days after, it was really difficult, was unable to get up. But I feel people need to know that this is part of the healing. It's not something that's going to kill you, or it's mind over matter. You're going to have to let your body and your mind believe that you're stronger than this.
So are you still continuing the treatment?
No, I'm off treatment now because of the nature of the cancer. It was a triple negative, so that's not like a prolonged treatment, though it is a bit more intense. And I know the hormone positive ones are like on a longer period. The chemo's for triple negative, and the treatment's more aggressive and very fast and hard. They hit you really hard with it. Yeah.
By off the treatment, are you cancer free?
I am 5 years cancer free, so I have come out of my relapse period just last year. Not even last year, I'm coming out of it.
By relapse, you mean?
Relapse is a period where there's a higher chance of this cancer coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not something that I asked for. Nobody asks for this. And at some point, I had even learned to not accept cancer as my cancer, my breast cancer, my tumor. It was not mine. It was the cancer, the tumor. So I think I also expelled it like that from my body, like it's not part of me, why is it with me? Cancer is not a death sentence. You can come out of it. It's mind over matter. Get yourselves checked. If you feel like it's only you feel like only breast cancer will happen, you don't even know what's going to happen. You don't know what's happening in your body. Your screenings are important. You need to get yourselves checked. There's people who don't have access to medical facilities. They need to be taught on how to self-check. They need to know that this is different in my body. I understand around the menstrual cycle, there's changes in the breast tissue, how it functions, there's hardness, there's swelling, but everybody needs to understand when to be able to do these checks. After how long of your menstruation you need to do your self-checks. You don't do a self-check every day. It's once a month, and I believe it's 7 days after the start of your period. Early detection is vital. I believe if I had been more vigilant, more careful, I would have also been able to be treated earlier, and it would have been less aggressive than what it was.